Okay, you've turned 16 and you're ready to venture out into the world and tackle that first after-school or summer job. But what awaits you out there? That apparently depends upon who you ask.
There are no job opportunities here for young men and women.
There are positions out there. They are fewer than in the past simply because businesses are more skeptical of hiring. They are hiring.
Even in good times, it's tough for a kid to break into the job market. No track record, no experience, no resume. But these are not good times. These are very bad times. Record unemployment and foreclosures, a collapsed housing market, a depressed construction industry. Experienced professionals are collecting unemployment insurance, queuing up at food pantries to feed their families, and accepting any job they're lucky enough to find. Where does this leave that high school student? Danielle Brunn's job is helping youngsters prepare to enter the workforce. She and her co-workers at the Workforce Development Board provide them with work readiness training, occupational and life skills. And Brunn warns her young charges that they face a formidable challenge.
It's not going to be easy. It is work. Finding a job is probably your first job, and it's not what we've heard in the past where students just used to go out to a McDonald's or to any of the food chains or retailers and walked in and said, I need a job, and they say, okay. What I tell students is you're going to actually have to spend the time. You're going to have to look. You're going to have a resume. You're going to have somebody coach you and prepare you because it is competitive.
Grace Nurse gave up a career on Wall Street to work with mostly disadvantaged youngsters at a community center in Punta Gorda. She too knows that in this economy, they face an uphill battle and stiff competition for jobs.
I worked for Goldman Sachs, and we never hired anyone unless they came from one of the 5 major institutions, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, you know. And so that's what they were looking for. Now, in this market, you can come from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and still be flipping a Whopper.
She raises an interesting point. People talk about flipping burgers as if working in a fast food restaurant is something to be ashamed of. But is it?
We all have to start at the bottom. There's not a CEO or president of a company who walked in one day and said, I'm going to be the CEO and a president, and hasn't had to flip burgers, scoop ice cream, work as a cashier, bag groceries, any of those things. We all have to start somewhere. We have to prove our worthiness to be in the workforce. This is not a right by any means. You have to earn the right to be a solid employee for a company.
But the harsh reality is many teens simply aren't prepared to look for a job, let alone hold one. So how about some do's and don'ts from the experts?
The first thing we have to look at is the appearance, because people look at what you wear and your appearance and make a judgment call. They can't wear 3 earrings and a ring nose and dreads and things of that nature. Every day they come in here, my phrase is, pull up your pants.
It's a competitive market, and youth can be competitive if they know the rules of engagement. Most youth don't have that background. They don't know how to dress appropriately for it. They're still learning these things, how to dress, what a resume should and should not say, that you should have a resume.
Wait a minute. Did she say resume? How can a teen have a resume if he or she has never had a job?
Actually, most students think, oh, I can't have one because of that, and that's not true. The truth is that we all do things in our lives to build skills. We are constantly in training for the workforce as we're growing up. Most students just don't know how to convert what they've had to do because they were a student into what is a value add to an employer.
In fact, young people may have an advantage over older job applicants because they are more attuned to today's technology.
They have job skills because they're more computer literate than a lot of us who grew up before these things were part of our everyday lives.
But along with that advantage comes a warning for tech-savvy teens. Beware of social networking.
What you do behind closed doors should stay behind closed doors. It shouldn't be blogged about, it shouldn't be tweeted about, it shouldn't be posted all over your MySpace, and the pictures should be shared with only those people who you know for a fact you can trust. And of course, the internet is not a people you can trust. And I tell this to students all the time, even when they have a private profile, it's still out on the internet, and there are always people who can get around privacy settings and firewalls.
Other tips from the pros? Keep your eyes open. You never know where that job opportunity might come from.
Definitely think outside the box. Yes, you're going to use traditional outlets for looking for employment too, but don't be afraid to, like I said, ask your neighbor who does whatever it is you want to do when you grow up. You never know.
Use your own interests as a roadmap in your job search.
Your interests are going to be the foundation for finding out what you love to do, because it's all, you have to be interested in it. It's got to challenge you. It's got to create thinking and progress and growth.
So, dress appropriately, prepare a resume, think out of the box, do your homework, and maybe most of all, don't be discouraged.
We all have to live through life's rejections, and job hunting is the biggest one of them. And it doesn't matter what level you're at, entry level all the way up to professionals, rejection is a part of what we do when we job hunt. And so you have to stay persistent with that.
Looking for a job these days, it's very hard. It's very rare to find a job. I've applied numerous times and I had no success. My friends are all having trouble finding jobs. It's very hard for them too. Employers always tell me at the jobs that maybe try it in another year or so or in a few months, gives them some time.
But youthful optimism can often overcome temporary setbacks, and it helps to have a goal to reach for.
My plans after graduation are to attend Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, majoring in psychology, and get my master's degree. I'm not really discouraged. I really think it's going to get better. I have high hopes.